started. Let me let in these last couple of people and we'll jump right into it. So I definitely appreciate everybody that has joined us tonight. I'm sure there'll be a handful of other people join here in the next few minutes. But welcome to our marketing workshop. We're going to talk to you guys about a little bit on getting your food truck and getting it marketed in a better way. So tonight we have a guest trainer, somebody that I have a lot of respect for, somebody that has a lot of marketing background. So let me introduce our speaker tonight, our guest trainer. He played football for Columbia University. He currently lives in Nashville, Tennessee area with his family. He has been a small business owner for 30 years, over 30 years, so he knows what we go through. He founded the company William & Hill, and he recently developed a marketing strategy and software solution called 30-Minute Marketing Magic. And it's designed for food establishments so they can leverage their face-to-face and text message marketing opportunities, but still manage those opportunities in just 30 minutes a week. I thought that was absolutely awesome when he was telling me about that, because you guys know I hate wasting time. So let me introduce Scott Hill and I'll let him jump right into the presentation.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you and appreciate you having me. Thank you everyone for being here. Really excited to be with you and do this training. There are lots of ways to do marketing. We all know. I mean, Bill, I've seen plenty of Bill's trainings, and he has gone over many really good marketing activities and things that you can do to leverage yourself and bring in more business. Tonight, we're going to focus on how to get more guests, both new and repeat, through message marketing, plus a bunch of proven strategies to make sure that you maximize the potential of every single person who ever comes in contact with your business, and how it quite possibly can be the most effective and powerful way to market your business and help you get the biggest bang for your marketing minute and dollar. So we all can really appreciate how our time is valuable, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to maximize time and maximize ROI. So obviously, Bill's already introduced me. Thank you again. Here's what I believe. I believe that local small businesses are absolutely the cornerstone of our economy. And if that wasn't just an opinion, then let's look to Google, because Google says that 46% of all of the searches that are conducted on the Google platform are for locally based business owners. And close to 60% of those people searching for local businesses take action on those searches. So in other words, it stands to reason that for every 10 people who are searching for an awesome food truck to eat at, 6 of them are going to take action that day, and they're going to eat at one of them. And really the question is, do you want your fair share of those people to choose you? And that's really what we're here to kind of analyze. So let's talk specifically about the food truck business model. For me, and it's just going to be a minute here, in my opinion, it might be, and really from the perspective of the consumer, it's the perfect business model. And why do I say from the perspective of the consumer? Well, I know how hard you guys work. I know the food business is probably the hardest business there is. I know that there are times where you say the restaurant business doesn't feel like a very good model for you, but the great news is when it comes to food trucks, it is a really powerful business model. It is killer. Guests love it. And if you can make them feel special, you can really win. Rarely can you find a business that you can do well in all three worlds. So if done right, a food truck can, it's why traditional restaurants are moving towards food trucks. They're adding food trucks, or they're even scrapping the brick and mortar portion of their business and going food truck, because you get speed, quality, and price. So if you look at your traditional business, there's brick and mortar expenses, there's all sorts of overhead expenses. In the food truck, you can limit those. You can have as much or more speed in your execution than they can in a full service restaurant. So, and the price, because of that lower overhead, it really does satisfy those things that are quite rare in business. And that's why I'm so excited to talk to you guys tonight. Our goal is, as a business, personally, William & Hill, we are on a relentless pursuit to provide technology that gets the best results for the least amount of money in the least amount of time. So that's why we're here. And at the end of the day, there are 4 ways a business owner can leverage himself. He can use people. So at the time I get most, busy and I feel like I've got nothing else to give, I can use other people to help me. I can use machines and tools. I can use technology, and I can implement systems and strategies. And you've heard Bill talk about all of these things. What we're going to focus on is marketing strategies and the marketing software that can help get it done. So without further ado, here's what we're going to cover tonight. We're going to cover the local business marketing flywheel. And that translates to, if you saw kind of the post about what we're going to cover, it's going to help you understand how to transform your business almost virtually overnight from one and dones into repeat guests. I've been used to using the word customers, but as I've gotten more involved with Bill, I know Bill uses the word guests, and rightly so. So I've tried to do some of that myself. We're going to go over the first impression audit. You may have seen that in the post. You actually may have done it already, hopefully. It'll help us speed up our training session. Google My Business reviews and how to stop worrying about bad reviews, hopefully forever. And then message marketing, how to use your guest's cell phone number to manage your marketing in hopefully 30 minutes per week. We're going to show you how. Okay, so what we want to do here is I want to explain how we're going to structure this training. We're going to go through each part and we're going to hit the why, what, and how. Along the way, we're going to bake in some really quick wins so that you can implement things into your food truck business virtually immediately. If you got off the phone, if we get off this training, you can literally do some of this stuff tonight. So first off, I want to have a volunteer. So if I can get somebody in the chat to say I volunteer, maybe you can unmute yourself and we can have a quick conversation. I need somebody.
Well, I will, but
All
I
right.
don't have a lot of events I've done, so I don't know what kind of volunteer you're looking for.
No, you just being you is great. Is this the first time you've attended a workshop like this, a marketing workshop?
It is, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for attending. Where are you from? Where do you live?
I'm in Minnesota.
Okay. What part of Minnesota?
I'm out west now by St. Cloud, a little bit like in the Kimball area, but it's a small town.
Do you have a food truck or are you building a food truck?
I have a food truck and I got pushed by the health inspectors to get into brick and mortar as well because I'm also wholesaling. Okay.
Well, that's it. That's all I needed you for. Thank you for participating. But what was your name again?
Michelle.
Michelle, thank you for participating. At the end of this training, if you wouldn't mind sticking around, I've got a really cool surprise for you, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's what I wanted to do there. And then I also have 2 favors. If you feel like this workshop, if you like this workshop and you feel like it delivers real value, I'm going to ask you to leave me a review, just like I want to teach you guys to start to have this strategy reviews. And then the other thing is active participation will multiply the value of this training. So the more you participate, the more all of us will learn and grow. Fair enough? All right, great.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
so I want you to be honest. I've had 1 volunteer so far. I'm going to need a couple more volunteers. So if you can find me, if you're on Facebook and you can find me inside the group, and if you can DM me your name and your cell phone number, along the way, we're going to do a couple demos that I need your help with. So if you can do that, I'll pick a few out.
Yeah, definitely. I can volunteer.
Okay, so go ahead and make sure you find me in Facebook, and I'll look for the DM and we can get you involved. Okay.
Okay.
The other thing is I want everybody to be really honest. I said this before, but even be vulnerable, hiding behind the fears you guys have about marketing and your business and the things that you're afraid of. Really, it's not going to help you, because in all likelihood, if you're thinking it, other people are thinking it too. And most importantly, if you get it covered tonight, then you won't have to worry about it anymore. So make sure you do that. We're going to get started with 3 questions so we can understand where everybody is from a marketing perspective. And so I want to go over question 1 real quick right now. So when it comes to growing your business, what is the biggest challenge or concern that you have right now? In other words, what keeps you up at night? Please post it in the chat if you can. I'm going to give you 30 seconds or so to kind of type in what is concerning you about growing your business. Okay, these are all awesome. It's awesome feedback. Okay, as we are humming along with that one, which is great. All right, so now we're going to go to question number 2. These are all things that I'll try to coordinate, and I can follow up with some posts in the group about what everybody said. Second question, specifically when it comes to marketing or attracting new guests, what frustrates you the most right now? Specifically as it relates to marketing. Like what, maybe there's a tactic that you want to figure out, but you haven't yet, whether it's social media or paid ads or, whatever it is, your reviews, Google, any of that.
Getting lots of people putting down some good information there.
Invaluable information for all of us, really.
What
That's how
I'll do, just want to interject just real quick. What I'll do with this list, because it's actually a pretty amazing list, I will answer as many as I can too. Because I know
Right.
you want to focus on marketing, but some of the things I've seen aren't necessarily marketing related.
Yeah.
But I'll make sure every single question gets answered.
Yeah, you and I can go over it together. I told you I was going to try to give you a run for your money. I won't be able to get there entirely, but I'll help as much as I can too. Okay, great. Keep them coming. There's one more question and then we're going to get into the specifics. If you could solve one problem and feel like, I'd almost be willing to pay anything to solve this marketing problem, what would that be? And of course, that is entirely dependent upon you getting a result. We're all sick and tired of paying for whatever it might be and not getting results, getting manipulated. And honestly, I believe that's most common in marketing, unfortunately. But what problem do you want to solve? And if we can kind of keep it to marketing somewhat, Bill's going to jump on anything that's not, but for purposes of this training. Advertising locally, okay, not having, acquiring new customers, being at the top, Google. So these are just fantastic. Okay, awesome. Awesome. All right, keep those coming, and I'm gonna get going into the training. This is funny. This slide earlier today was called customer journey, and I went and did a find and replace on customers for guest bill. So now we are calling this the guest journey. So how do you transform one and done guests into repeat and lifelong guests? Quick story. We have a favorite restaurant, as many of you may have, and I think a lot of you want this story to apply to you, but about 15 years ago, we've lived in the same area for 22 years. We visited this restaurant. It's called Outlanders. It's close to where we live. It's south of Nashville, Tennessee. And when we got there, the first time we got there, the owner was there and he said hello to us. And we sat down. We had a young family and he had a free ice cream machine that was behind his register. And you could get these really mini little ice cream cones. It must have cost him 20 cents. And he had a little toy game where you could use that arm and you could grab a duck, one of those rubber ducks out of his toy arm. And he had that in his corner and he'd walk around with a pocket full of quarters and he'd hand them out to the kids when they were there at the table. And he would start to use our names when he could. And over time, I can't even imagine how much money we've spent at his restaurant. And it's a dive. It's a chicken finger place with fries. And we have a family of 7. And I can't tell you how many times we go there. I'm old enough now where I've had a couple kids move away. And when they come back, the first place they want to go is this place. It is not the best food I've ever had in my life. In fact, it's chicken fingers, but what he's done to really make us feel special is really the crux of what this training is all about. And his name's Brian. I know him as the owner, and I can tell you, I honestly can count on one hand all the restaurants I've gone into my life where I know the owner's name and I know they've taken the time to come and say hello to me. And the loyalty I have for that business is second to none, because he decided to treat me special and treat our family special. And I think what that does for us anyway is we have kids in all the spectrum, and when we're in the car and we say, where do you want to go and eat tonight? We have a varying opinion. If I'm being honest, my wife and I don't necessarily want to go to that restaurant every time, and maybe not that often at all, but we've got advertisers in the back seat saying, I want to go there, I want to go there, because they feel the same way we have all through those years. And I just don't think we can emphasize from a marketing standpoint. And Bill I know he drives it over and over again about how you treat your guests. And I've heard this from successful restaurateurs, maybe you all have too. If you take care of your customer, the rest will take care of itself. And we all need to do marketing to build relationships, but I think it all starts with that. So, all right, let's get into your first impression. But let's take a look at it here. So this is really what we're going to start to talk about first. This is the guest journey, the customer journey. And if you've seen this before, I posted this once on the in Bill's group, but I wanted to go over it tonight because there's a couple of things that are really important here. So first, what I want to do is I want to focus on the why, the inside part of this flywheel. And it all starts not at the top. It all starts to that, just to the right where it says impression. I hope can everybody see it okay? Is it large enough? We can read it. So
Yeah, you're good.
okay, good. All right. So if your first impression is good, then we all get an opportunity as business owners. You may have to wait unless you're really good at marketing, and we all know it takes 5 or 10 or 15 impressions for someone if they've never heard of you, in order for someone to take action. But unless you do that, you're gonna hopefully get an opportunity, because you've delivered a good first impression. You're gonna get that opportunity to deliver an experience, and that's what I think we all want. Assuming you all have incredible food, and I'm sure you do, that experience, assuming it's 5-star, is where you get to start to build your reputation. And so before I go any further, I want to just do a quick demo. So I know that, let me look in my thing. I think I should have a couple people who are willing to engage me here as volunteers. So let me see. I didn't see anybody in my direct message, but I did see somebody on the chat. Anybody want to volunteer? Just type your name in the chat before everybody goes off mute. Type your name in and we'll get you in as a volunteer. Okay, Brandy, go ahead. Hey, Brandy, will you unmute yourself, please?
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you, Brandy? Thanks for
I'm
participating.
good, thank you. No problem.
Okay, we're going to pretend I'm the food truck. I'm the owner and you're the guest, okay?
Okay.
Okay, hey, may I help you? Can I take your order, please? So you're going to tell me what you want. Let's say I'm pretending tonight that I'm Scooter's Fried Chicken. So you go ahead and order some fried chicken from me.
So how do your fried chicken come? How many pieces to an order?
It comes in 3 pieces to an order, and it comes with fries and a drink. A special, it's like $14.99.
Okay, yeah, I'll take 2 of those for my husband and I.
Okay, so your total is going to be $31. Can I get your name?
Brandy.
Okay, Brandy, thank you. We will call you when your order is ready, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Brandy! Your order's ready. I know a lot of people who do it this way. So, all right, here's your order. Thank you very much, Brandy.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Now I need another volunteer. Let's see, who is right after Brandy? All right, Chris, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, sir.
Chris, how are you?
I'm well. Yourself, sir?
I'm doing well. All right, welcome to Scooter's Fried Chicken. can I take your order, please?
Yes, sir. Can I get whatever you got for a special today?
Absolutely. Just one or for yourself, or would you like more than one?
Get 4. I got my wife and 2 boys as well.
Brilliant. Okay, the order's gonna be $57.25. And can I get your phone number, please, so that I can text you when your order's ready, please?
Absolutely, sir.
You don't have to give it to me, but I'm gonna do with 555-1212, right? Okay, brilliant. What was your name?
It was Chris.
Chris, thank you very much. All right, we'll text you when your order's ready, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So I'm gonna text you your order. You're waiting pretty far back because the line's long. Everybody loves my chicken. I'm texting you, your order's ready. You're gonna come to the window, okay?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Chris, here's your food. Hey, is this your first time with us at Scooter's Fried Chicken?
It absolutely is. Yes, sir.
Brilliant, man. I love you for it. I appreciate you. Are you local or are you far away?
I am. I'm actually local. Just lived just down the road.
Oh, that is brilliant. Hey, that is great. So do me a favor. When you get finished, come see me because I've got a special prize for all you guys, okay?
Will do. No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
All right. All right. We'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right. So you're going to come back now. You're finished eating and you come up and you come and see me. I'm Scott. So go ahead.
Hey, Scott, that was really, really good. All my kids really enjoyed it, and they're pretty hard to please, but you told me to come back up. Yes, sir.
That is great to hear. You told me this was your first time, and we love to treat our first timers special. So I've got some cookies for you here. I want to hand to you, and I just want to say thank you again for coming. If you would, we would really appreciate it. I mean, you said you had a great experience, but if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to go ahead and text you a link, and it would be really helpful to us if you could give us a review. Is that okay?
Yes, Scott, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to do so.
Chris, you're the best. Thank you. I hope to see you again soon.
Will do, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate everything.
Take care. All right. So I did this for obvious reasons, but I feel like it's always better when you do it kind of in this environment and kind of show the difference. How'd y'all feel about that difference? Go ahead and text any responses that you had. I think, normally we're all going to say, yeah, okay, there's a big difference, but sometimes when it's done like that, it can really drive the point home. Do you remember when at the beginning of this presentation, I think it was Michelle, we had a little brief conversation and I said, hey, I've got something special for you at the end, just for you. And, I think we just, at times as business owners, we get so bogged down in the transactional aspect of what we do that we really forget it's about people. And instead of just going through it, I think many times as marketers, we advocate that you take the time to make the person feel special. And instead of making a transactional business, make it a relational business. And that's exactly what this flywheel is designed to show you. It's when we take people through the inside of this flywheel, our motivation every time is to have the kind of experience that Chris had. And I know this resonates with everybody, but when we think about this flywheel, we want to keep this flywheel turning because as we execute and we go through all the steps of this flywheel, we have given Chris a great experience, which now creates the basis of a reputation for me. And if I can reproduce this experience over time, I can have a lot of Chris's on my side. And Chris is hopefully going to come back. He said he would, but he's going to be bombarded the minute he leaves us with all of the other restaurants that probably have great food that are vying for his attention. So the fact that I got his cell phone number means now I get to start a relationship with him. So if he comes back, he's a repeat customer, but a relationship is where I'm going to keep his attention and I want to turn him into a raving fan. And when he's a raving fan, he's going to run through a brick wall for me. He's going to defend me when people say my food's not good. And he is going to do the most important thing, which is what we hope all raving fans do, is he's going to refer us to others. And once you get that positive word of mouth going, and someone who knows you're a raving fan or someone your raving fan knows, the process gets to start all over again. And as we know, it doesn't mean it's going to be a cakewalk. That new person that has been told about your business is going to come in and they're going to have their own expectations. And it might be a little easier. They're going to start with a little easier road. They're not so skeptical. They're not so standoffish, but they're also going to be able to get that first impression and start on that flywheel. All right. So in order to get the flywheel turning and keep moving, what do we need to do? We need to do the first impression audit. So but first, what I want to do is I want to explain the rest of this. Let's go to the outside and talk about the outside sections of this flywheel really quick. First one is going to be the tools. So the tools are the forms that you'll use. You're going to use forms. I'll show you where a couple places you're going to use forms. You're going to use, well, in our case, we use a mobile app. You're probably going to use some software programs. You may have a POS already that can use some of the stuff. The intention and strategy behind this marketing workshop is you may have some of this technology that you can piece this all together with what you have now. You may not, or you may try to do it yourself, but Bill challenged me to make sure my workshop gave you the information you needed to do either of those things. Obviously, we're willing to help, but here's the information, here's the strategy, here's the roadmap so you can get it done yourself if necessary. All right, so the list hub, it's not necessarily a CRM. We have a joke in our business that CRMs are where prospects and customers go to die. It's a list where you can tag people and you can send them information. And in our case, we believe the best way to send them information is via a message, text message, especially on the cell phones. And then the reputation hub, we use workflows so that we can automate the process. I'm going to show you how, in the case of Chris, when I get his information at checkout, that I'm going to get that important cell phone number so I can text him when his order is ready. I'm going to get his first name, but when I do it, I'm going to use the app to save. And then what that's going to do is that's going to start a chain reaction of building the relationship. All right. So the sneak peek in all this, though, is, and let me do the final piece, the relationship hub is, when you have a relationship, you can get a little bit of additional information. You can maybe get their birthday. You can do specials. You can share things, private menu items. There's a bunch of stuff that we can collectively brainstorm that you can do when you have relationships. But the sneak preview is your marketing is driven by tags in our world, where you tag people and you put people into customer groups, whether it's an event at a location that's far away. You certainly wouldn't want to blast your entire list or where you're going to be if 90% of the people on that list are from different places and they're not going to, they're not going to engage on that. So let's go into how we do it then. When we combine the why, and that's what I talk about the inside, the referral impression flywheel part. When we combine the why, which we call the strategy, on the inside with the what and how, which are the tools and tactics on the outside, then that's where we start to really make progress. And what can we do about it right now and get a quick win? Well, we can start with the first impression. So let's go ahead and let's use this first impression to learn how we can attract a lot more guests without wasting time, without wasting some, if not all of our time and money on marketing. Okay, because on a basic human level, there's been a lot of research in this. And as a marketer, I've done a lot of learning around this. When it comes to making decisions, we are all wired at this first impression stage to have people think we're smart. It's this basic human characteristic that we all share. And if you do something, you make a decision, and it turns out bad, deep down inside, we don't want people to know that. We want people to believe that we're smart, and we don't want people to believe that we're not so smart. So there are a lot of studies around this, but when it comes to your first impression, psychologically, mentally, it's been proven over and over again that our minds put up these self-defense mechanisms that essentially try to protect us from danger and harm. It's part of the way we're wired. Our brains are designed to do it. They're designed to protect us from looking, to protect us from not looking, from looking not so smart. So they want to protect, our brain wants to protect us from that. So when a person interacts with your business for the very first time, subconsciously, they are deciding and looking for things that will help them not pick your business. They're looking for anything that will say red flag, yellow flag, and they're going to move on. So what that means is that the mind quickly puts these self-defense mechanisms up, and before we can do anything, we've lost our opportunity to deliver impression. So that's what we want to try to control. What does that mean? It means before I go any further, I do want to mention one important factor here. As business owners, for some reason, we believe that this philosophy or this thing does not apply to us. So when we go out looking for local businesses, we will do what every business or what every consumer does. We will go to reviews, we will investigate, we will do our research, we will ask for people to, tell us about businesses. But when we're the business owner, we believe that it doesn't apply to us. So we won't take the necessary steps to make sure our first impression is as it should be. And we'll just think, you know what, they're going to give us a chance. They're not going to be so affected by the same things that affect us when we're looking for small businesses. Okay, so let's go through this. All right, so how many of you by putting in the chat, we can put the words first impression if you want, have already gone through and done your first impression audit? Just say I've done it or I haven't done it would be helpful. Okay, great. So we're going to spend a little bit more time on this. I'm not sure some of those lines are on there. Do you see those, Bill? Those little lines on the. I hope those aren't too much of a distraction.
I was thinking you must be using like a whiteboard, because some of the and I'm not sure how that got there.
Okay. All right. So let's spend some time on this. So if everybody, is there any way? What we're going to do is we're going to share it in the. I think it's already shared in the group, isn't it, Bill? Somewhere.
Yes, it is. It's in the
So
group.
we'll make sure you guys can all find it afterwards, but we're going to go ahead and you can just do it on a piece of paper, or you can do it. You can do it on your phone, however you want to do this. We're going to go through each of these, and I want to explain briefly why this exists and why it's so important to you. So we'll do a little bit of the why behind each one of these, and we'll obviously understand what it all rolls up and how it can really, really help you. Number one, know where you stand, but number two, know what to do about it. All right, so there are really 5 areas of our first impression audit that we concentrate on. The first one, and I'm not sure anyone's more or less important than the other, but the first one is reputation. Google is incredibly important to all of us, obviously, and whether we like it or not, Google has a very big influence on consumers, and we'll talk more about some of the statistics around it in a bit. But what we do is, what we found and what we've learned about your Google business listing is that consumers at this point are starting to have sort of a line that they don't want to cross. And most people will say that people are starting to judge you based on this 4.5 star rating kind of thing. So the first part of this audit is simply, do you have a 4.5 plus star rating on Google, and ideally Yelp, because you guys are restaurants, you food businesses, Yelp is pretty important to you too. So if you don't have a Google business listing, then the answer is no. And if you don't have a 4.5 star rating on both of these review sites, then the answer is no. Second one is, do you have at least 25 reviews on Google with responses? It is an incredibly important component of your Google business listing. And so if you have 25 plus reviews, but you haven't responded to all of them, the answer is no. If you don't have photos on your Google business listing, the answer is no. What we're trying to do is we're trying to set a standard for you guys that you want to keep when it comes to your first impression. And these are all very important pieces of your first impression. It doesn't matter what the score is now as much as it does what you do about it from today going forward. So the third piece of it is, do you have a Google review within the last 30 days? You don't have to answer inside the chat. You're kind of keeping these things on your own. We're going to do a simple calculation at the end. So it's either yes or no. We're going to add up the yeses and we're going to get your score. It's incredibly important to have Google reviews as often as you can. It's a frequency thing. Number one, consumers value it. Number two, Google really values it. So point number 4, are you advertising on Facebook and Instagram? Those are two really, really popular places your customers are likely, and you need to be advertising. And we're going to show you some cool advertising strategies that you can do $1 a day, but you need to be out there on Facebook and Instagram. The answer is no if you're not. I'm going to show you a cool trick on how to find it. I'll show it to you right now. This is a little, if you don't know this, hopefully you do, but if you don't, this is a little secret. When Google has made available the ability for you to see what your competition's doing in the way of advertising on Facebook. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go on the internet and I'm going to type in food truck. And so let's see, I'm going to look for a listing that is got a lot of reviews, because they'll likely have a Facebook page. If they don't, we're just going to do a general business. But looks like this food truck has a lot of reviews, and looks like they have a Facebook page. So when I go on their Facebook page, I can know for sure whether they're advertising on Facebook. And let's see, this is not the same kind of Facebook page as your normal Facebook page. So I'll go ahead and go on McDonald's, for example. So if I go on McDonald's, I can go on their Facebook page and I can go to this section right here. If you see page transparency, you can click on page transparency and you can scroll down this pop-up and it says, go to ad library. This page is currently running ads. So I can click on the library and I can see all of the ads that Facebook is running currently on their Facebook feed. Okay, so what's important about this is that you get a sense of what McDonald's is doing and what might be working. The way you know it's working is by when the ad started running. So if you look here, you can see this ad started on August 22nd. That was today. But if you scroll down the page, you can get a sense of some of the ads that may have been running a lot longer. Now, Google, for whatever reason, tends to run a lot of ads, or McDonald's has a lot of ads. Obviously, they have billions and billions of dollars, but if you see, you'll start to see older ads. In the case of small businesses, though, you're going to start to see ads that are much older. You may see some that were launched or published in April, maybe. And unless they're completely clueless when it comes to Facebook ads, it's likely that that ad is performing. Now, you have to test it yourself, but it can give you some real ideas about what you might do when it comes to advertising on Facebook. So that's a little hack I just wanted to share with you. And so now let's go back to the first impression audit. Okay, if you're not advertising, the answer is no. Website friendly, an incredibly valuable and important component of a business is its website. And because we all have a short attention spans, you need to make sure that your website is fast loading. And what does that mean? If you click on this first impression audit, you can go to this site. It's a free site, GT Metrics, and it's going to allow you to type in your domain name. So scootersfriedchicken.com, and it's going to test your site. Anything below a B means your site is not loading fast enough, and you're going to want to fix it. And it's going to give you a list of things you can do to speed up your website. But the average consumer will only last on your website 8 seconds. And if the site does not load fast enough for this consumer, they're just going to go elsewhere. It is just fact. So it's a really important thing to make sure that your website's fast loading. If you get a B or better, the answer is yes. And if you get a C or a D or less, then the answer is no. Is your website secure? If you notice with here in the bar where the URL is, you'll see a lock. That means that the site is secure. It means essentially, if you'll see that it has the HTTPS in the domain name. If it doesn't, it's going to show a warning. And there's a big like warning sign here, and it will show you that this site is not secure. And there is some debate on whether or not the HTTPS is actually effective or not. That's not the point. The average consumer is going to see a warning, and that's a yellow flag. And so you just have to have the secure in order to make sure that your consumer does not get concerned or there's a yellow flag. Last piece is your website mobile friendly? Okay, so if you click on this, you will go to the Google website, the Google mobile friendly test, and you'll put your URL in and you'll test your URL. That's your website. When you get the result, Google's going to tell you whether or not it's mobile friendly or not. Now, this is not 100% accurate, but it's a very good tool to help you understand whether or not your customers are getting a valuable experience on their mobile phone, because more than 60% of your customers will be looking at your website on their mobile phone. Okay, moving on. The next section of our audit, our first impression audit, is the above the fold section. I'm not sure how many of you have ever heard the term above the fold, so I'll explain it quickly. But the above the fold area of your website is the area of your website that you can see visibly either on your phone or on a desktop or another kind of a device before you have to scroll. So if I'm here and I want to scroll down, then now I'm going below the fold. Here is everything that someone would consider above the fold, everything you can see as is. Most people do not scroll below the fold. It's an overwhelming percentage, especially if you don't capture their attention. And this is what this is talking about. Do you have a grab your attention headline? Something that is going to grab their attention, like get a free appetizer, or join our VIP club today, or order now. You know, you have to have an attention grabbing headline above the fold in order for you to answer yes here. Now, so don't be easy on yourself. Give yourself a true grade, yes or no, if you don't have it. Do you have hold your attention video or imagery? Okay, that means does the above the fold imagery on your website want to make my mouth water? That is the standard by which you should say yes or no to this. Is that imagery compelling? It may be, you know, it may be a slideshow. It may be a GIF where you can put a 5-second video behind words and it looks like a video. That's a very cool way to do that. Or you might have a welcome video, and I'm going to show you a little bit about that. Might not be able to get to it tonight, but I will share some of these resources with you after tonight. And then the final thing is, do you have a compelling call to action? It is not sign up. It is not something that is learn more. It is, you know, it is, I want to be in the VIP club. It is a button that is calling people to action so you can convert visitors into something. The most important part about the above the fold section of your website is you need to have a single objective. Do not have competing objectives when it comes to the above fold section of your website. If you've got a bunch of things going on and they can choose from a variety of different things, then you're going to compete for the attention of people. And when people are confused, they actually do nothing. If it's a single objective like order now or join our VIP club, get free food, whatever it is, something compelling, and make sure it's that, then you're going to have a lot better success with the above the fold objective of your website. Okay, last section, social media. have you posted on Facebook in the last 7 days? I am not an incredibly huge advocate of social media just because I've never figured it out and it's taken me years to do it. And it takes so much time to try to figure it out. I tend to want to use posts, boosted posts, and very cheap ads, $1 to $2 to $3 ads that I can put out there on the internet to get the same level of attention and save me the time of hassle of trying to figure social media out. I also do not want to pay for social media expertise because I've gone through too many of them that didn't work. It's a grind for me. It's just my personal experience. For people who are having success with social media, my belief is there's a chance you figured it out yourself, or you have found that once in a lifetime person who actually knows what they're doing. I certainly have not found them yet. So what I mean by 7 days is I just mean people are definitely going to go to your social media accounts and they are going to see if you have a pulse. And that's what, to me, 7 days means. I have to keep my social media profiles current with some level of appropriate content so people know I exist. Otherwise, it's going to be a yellow flag. So that holds true for Instagram, and that's going to hold true for Google My Business. All channels current. The reason I put that is you may have found your target customer tends to be on another channel, TikTok or somewhere else. So you're going to use that fourth piece to say that applies to me or not. Okay, let me orient myself real quick. The other thing I want to show you that you're going to get is this comes along with the first impression scorecard. This is a place, remember, it's not important what your score is right now. It's important what your score is going to be a week from now and 2 weeks from now. And this scorecard is going to help you improve. So this is a simple Google spreadsheet. And what it does is it allows you for each month of the year to create a new spreadsheet and track your progress. So you can put your monthly actuals here. How many reviews do I have right now? Or did I get this week, or I'm going to get, or what have you? And you add these up. These are all, there are some simple formulas, nowhere near the complexity that Bill has and that's needed with this financial stuff. This is really some simple math around how you accumulate and account for the progress you're making on some of these areas of your first impression. I feel like I'm falling way behind, Bill. I'm trying to speed up here. I see that as a 7:47, so I'm going to see if I can go just a bit faster. Okay, so that's the first impression. That's the first impression scorecard. These are so important to you and your ability to have even a chance of having someone show up at your food truck. So my suggestion is take these as seriously as I hope you feel like I'm trying to express them to you, because they're going to make a world of difference in you driving new customers. Okay, so let's get back to the presentation. All right, so let me orient myself real quick here. So let me go back one more. Okay, so first impression, we've gone through that. So now we're going to get into the next piece, reviews. And the next piece of the training that we promised you is how to stop losing sleep over bad reviews, hopefully forever. And so let's go ahead and get into that. The question I have, if anybody can answer it, is, does anyone know what sales and marketing experts call the economy that we're living in right now? If you do, or you want to take a guess, go ahead and put it in the chat.
Fickle.
That would be true.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Crashing. I hope not.
It's kind of like just this, we get satisfied immediately by everything technology wise, that they just want it now. You better be available 24/7.
So in the marketing world, what sales and marketing call our economy right now is they call it the feedback economy. The feedback economy, because we've all got so reliant on feedback that helps us make our decisions. And so here's some proof. I think I said this earlier, 46% of all searches on Google are for local-based businesses, but 95% of the consuming public read reviews. Businesses with 200 plus reviews generate twice as much revenue. 63% of consumers use Google when they seek out reviews, 54% use Facebook, and 32% use Yelp. 56% of guests say a company's response changed their perspective on the business, and that applies to a negative review. We've seen this. Bill makes these posts available, and we all contribute to them. You know, occasionally you'll see these posts in his group about what do I do about a bad review, and that's what we're really going to talk about right now. So what do we do about it? So the reality is we need to take it seriously. Because we live in a feedback economy, here are the best practices when it comes to your Google business listing, and they really can closely apply to Yelp and other rating services. You need to have a 4.5 plus star rating. If you're not, then you need to work on your guest experience. There's something wrong with your guest experience that is making your 4.5 star review rating not possible. You need to have 25 reviews. Just think about what you do psychologically. You may not even realize it, but subconsciously or consciously, when you look at a business that has less than 25 reviews, you keep looking. It's just what all consumers do. So ideally, it's going to be 50 or more. Based on the stat I shared with you, it's 200. That's got to be a goal. So the point is, what are we going to do to have a consistent strategy for it? Frequency of reviews is critical. If you can probably guess the answer to this question. I'm going to make it pretty easy to understand, but if a business has 750 reviews, but has decided on their own that reviews aren't necessary anymore, and they haven't had a review in 6 months, and the other one is a business with 162 reviews, and they get reviews every week, and sometimes more in 1 week than just one, and the owner constantly responds to both the positive and negative reviews, which one do you think Google is going to reward in their search engine? The reason why that's so is because Google wants people to participate, just like every social media platform does. So they eventually they're going to penalize, and they're going to bury, believe it or not, the one with 750 reviews because they've stopped participating on the platform. This is a never-ending business strategy. If you want, and we saw it when we asked people what their concerns were, there were plenty of people who answered, I want to know how to get on the top of the Google reviews. It is a strategy of consistency and having reviews consistently. Not just, I got my 200 and now I can stop. Google will penalize that. It is a fact. So how do you participate? Well, that's how consumers participate. How do you participate? You respond to every single one. Your loyal customers, statistics say, will give you $6,000 over the lifetime of your business. These are facts. And yet, if you look at a lot of businesses, even with 4.5 star ratings, there is no response to that customer who has given you a great review, and they get no validation. They get no response. And whether or not we're positive or negative in this regard, we want to be heard. We want to be acknowledged. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've said something nice about somebody or something, I've gotten no response from them. That feels about as bad as me getting no response when I'm not happy about something. So take time and energy to reward the people who take the time to say thank you and give you a 5-star review. Okay, if you want more reviews, the strategy is pretty simple. You have to ask. There is no magic behind getting reviews. You just have to ask. So how do you ask in a way when you've got 15 orders on the line and you're the one who feels like you're doing everything? You've got to figure out a strategy where you can consistently ask for reviews without you having to always ask for reviews in a cumbersome, time-consuming way. All right, so let's talk about bad reviews. We've done it inside of the group. Many of you may have seen these posts. We'll go through it quickly. When you get a bad review, you need to respond to it. And here's the framework that I recommend. I'm sorry your experience wasn't what you expected. Our goal is ... whatever that is. It appears, and then there's real importance behind it appears. It's because it's not always a fair or reasonable response from the guest for why their experience wasn't good. And so it is not going to be something like, I'm sorry, you haven't even had the chance to make it right or deal with it. So you don't want to acknowledge what might be really unreasonable behavior in the part of the guest that you just had. You want to acknowledge it. You're going to validate it by saying it appears you did not have a great experience. But don't confirm they had a bad experience, because it's not, you and I both know it's not always your fault. There's some unrealistic customer demand around right now. So just acknowledge it, offer to make things right, and say something similar to that. We would like to try to make things right, and then offer to engage that person, then offer to go the extra mile and give them the option of whether, you can get their number. If you have their number, you can try to call if it's okay, get their permission, offer to give the person your number or email, whatever is most convenient for them. And then just follow it up with, please let me know. And so what I don't like doing is I never believe it's a good idea to thank the person for leaving a negative comment. Don't ever use the word thank yous when they leave a negative comment. You're not thankful for that. No one's thankful for getting a bad review. I rarely think lashing out without giving, and I think we've talked about this in the group, I rarely think lashing out without giving the owner an opportunity to address the situation first deserves a thank you. I'm sorry you did not have a good experience is, in my opinion, and what I've learned, is a better way to acknowledge it, and it's sort of like an apology, but it's not, you're certainly not thanking them for it. What I do recommend, and what I do advocate for, is using thank you for the person who did take the time to reach out to you directly before they lashed out and left you a bad review. I think that deserves a thank you. Okay, so thoughts about dealing with the situation live. When you get the person on the phone, you're going to sort of reiterate what you said on the, publicly, if you have to address it, which you really do have to. And then what I've always found to be very effective is saying the following words: what can I do to make it right? What I found, and psychology, and there's a lot of studies behind this, is normally the person who is unhappy is willing to give you a solution that is less than what you would be willing to do in the first place. So if you say that they had a bad experience, whatever, you've asked them, please, can you tell me what went wrong? And they explain that to you, and you say, what can I do to make it right? Then there's a very good chance they're going to be willing to offer a solution that's less than what you were willing to give. And if it's more, then you have to address it clearly. If they say, I need you to close your business down because you should never be able to sell food again, then you obviously have to address an unrealistic suggestion. But it's just what we've learned in our experience dealing with our clients. Okay, so bottom line, if you want to stop worrying about bad reviews, you got to have a strategy for asking for them. Because what we want to do is we want to overwhelm the review sites with good reviews so that you can keep your 5-star or 4.5-star rating. That is the best advice I can ever give about reviews. It takes 7 5-star reviews for every 1 1-star review to keep a 4.5-star rating. So it's got to be about consistency. It's got to be about getting a lot of reviews. Okay, gosh, Bill, we're at an hour and I'm not getting close. I guess I'm getting close. What's your suggestion at this point? Keep going?
Yeah, take a poll is what Melissa said. See what everybody else wants to do, because you do have a lot of good information to pass along, and I think it will be worth, and just have everybody, let's do the poll. Yeah, press on. I like that. Keep going. All right.
All right, since we're recording it, if you have to leave, I know Bill's gonna make it available and you guys can, and you guys can certainly watch the rest of it. You'll be able to pick up where you left off, which is all, I guess, a good thing too. All right, so I'm gonna keep going. I'm ready. So how many of you have a Google business listing? This is the question I'd like to ask at this point. Okay, so I do, it looks like, yeah, 60–70% people do, some don't. What I want to do is I want to do a couple things regarding the Google business listing. I want to help orient you to number one, if you don't, where to go. And then if you do, what I want to do is I want to orient you how to get your share link so you can start sharing your Google business listing review link, so that just starting tomorrow, and you can start asking people for reviews. Okay, so first what I want to do is I want to show you that here's where you go. This is the link. If you can see it up at the top, you just simply go to Google/business. And if you don't have one, you're going to just click on manage now, or you're going to sign in, or you're going to get an account. You'll be able to go through. It's pretty self-explanatory. The one thing I want to address about food trucks that's different from other businesses is when you first get your Google business listing, you have to put a physical address in. And I know for many of you, you don't have a permanent address. When you do this Google business listing, use your home address, because Google has to send a postcard and they need to verify it with you to your physical address. So once you get it, then what you're going to do is you're going to go verify, and it's going to show you how to do it. It is really easy to do. You're going to verify your listing, and then you're going to remove your physical address that you had to put in order to get that postcard. And you can then get rid of your physical address, and you can go to what's called areas served, and you can then use general areas, and you can remove your physical address. So that's how you have to do it if you're a food truck. And the other thing that I want to show you is I want to show you how to get your share link if you don't know how to do that. So let me just show that to you. Let me get back to the reading. So if you type in your business, in this case, go to Google and type in the search box the name of your business, and it should come up with these following options at the top. Google Business has changed everything if you haven't noticed already. And they're allowing you to manage your Google business listing inside of Maps and sort of inside of the search box instead of going. I don't think you can use a PO box. You have to figure out a way to use a physical address. So just find any address that will let you get the postcard so that you can verify it. The postcard's going to give you, I think it's a number, and you have to use that number in order to verify your listing. Also, you want to check too, sometimes Google will create a listing for you that you have to verify yourself, if you've noticed that. So search on your business to make sure you don't have a listing that's been created for you. And then if it hasn't, then you can go ahead and go through that process, google.com/business. So right here, if you see this, if you've gone on to Google and you see and you search your business name, you're going to see these three sort of tiles that come up right at the top of the search, and you're going to want to focus on the second tile, get more reviews. Okay, so if you click on get more reviews, you're going to get a pop-up box that's going to look like this, and this is what you're going to copy this link, and this is what's going to allow you to share your Google business listing and the ability to ask for reviews with anybody that comes into contact with you. Ideally, you're going to want to filter them, and you're going to want to make sure that people who just can't get enough of your business gets this link, because they will give you reviews, especially if you look them in the eye. I wasn't able to look Chris in the eye, but I had a conversation with him, just like many of you are going to have at your food truck. You're going to be able to look your customer in the eye. You're going to say, man, I really appreciate you coming. Reviews mean everything to us. I can't tell you how important they are. Would you mind leaving me a review? I'd really appreciate it. And then you're going to share that link. Okay, that's sort of do it yourself kind of thing. It can get a little time consuming and cumbersome, but this is a great way. Starting tomorrow, you can start getting more reviews immediately if you haven't been doing it already. Okay, message marketing. This is we're getting along in here. I'm gonna try to go as fast as I can. How do you manage your marketing in 30 minutes per week? So question for you guys, if you guys can kind of comment in the chat, how much time are you currently spending on your marketing per week? And I think you probably can use a commissary kitchen as long as that commissary kitchen will give you that postcard. You got to look for it. It's a really important postcard. You got to make sure they're going to get it to you.
While everybody's typing in their length of time, the one thing I want to reiterate about that, using the commissary, they could actually use their registered agent for the LLC as well, because all they want to do is be able to collect up that piece of mail, and then they go in and change it. That's
Right.
the key point, that
That's
they go
the
back
key.
in and change it.
That's the right. Yeah, that is. Yeah. You're going to get in trouble if you don't go change your address, but you need that postcard in order to do it. You delete the address when you can delete the address at any point after you verify your listing with your Google postcard that you get at any point, but you're going to want to do it immediately. But you'll see when you verify it, it opens up the ability to edit your listing a lot more. You can add photos, you can do a bunch of different things, but most importantly, you can delete the physical address, and you can go to an area served kind of approach. If you need help with it, just reach out to me. Get me on the group and I'll walk you through it.
Are the Facebook reviews as important as Google reviews? I guess we went through the percentages, and it seems like Google is the more important of the bunch.
Yeah, they're all important. But what we advocate for with our clients is we can use automation to sort of round robin the review requests. So you'll have all three links, and then you can, when you ask for a review and it automates it inside the technology, then you can just sort of round robin those things. I'm going to show you a form that we use internally for our clients where they can actually select and just kind of decide randomly what review they're going to ask for. So the client won't know, but it'll say, hey, would you do us a favor and leave us a review? They're not going to know that that link's going to take them to Yelp, or it's going to take them to Facebook, or it's going to take them to Google. And then you'll have that option to, like I said, round robin it. I would concentrate on all three, and that's hard to do, but you're going to get a lot of mileage out of making sure that you get reviews for all three. It's that important. Okay, so we've got people talking about how much time they're spending. I appreciate you guys doing that. That's a repetitive slide here. Okay, so question, what form of communication do you guys all use with your closest friends and family?
I still like a good old phone call.
Your customers will tell you different, and that's what we want to focus on. Most of your customers, frankly, are going to be using text. It's just what the studies say. It's what all of us are starting to do. And obviously no one's used the email, because no one does that. Certainly for close relationships, we're all either text or phone most of the time. Text is the holy grail of building relationships these days for a lot of reasons. Number one, we're going to go through some statistics, but people are not going to answer your phone. If you're a business, they're just not going to answer your phone. If you want to build strong relationships with your guests, shouldn't it mimic the kinds of communication that you do with your best friends? And shouldn't you be fighting to open and keep open the lines of communication that really matter in close relationships? So let's talk about some statistics. 70% of consumers opted in to receive text from businesses. This is not something, if you feel like, no, your customers are going to resist that, they're not going to resist it, at least not according to statistics. 61% of consumers say they want the ability to text a business back. 61%. How many of you want that ability to be to your personal cell phone? Probably 0%. You need to find a way, and this is the technology we recommend. Not saying you have to go through us, but we recommend that you have a safe space between you and your customer, but have the ability to engage via text, two-way text. 95% of text messages are read or responded to within 3 minutes of being received, unless you own a food truck and you're cooking food. Consumers say texting is the activity that they engage the most when it comes to using their cell phone. The top 5, by the way, in case you're curious, 77% say texting is, 63%, and you could have selected more than one, but 63% are using social media, 50% news and entertainment, 49% music, and 48% email. So 77% texting. Okay, so what do? We build our list. If you're gonna have the opportunity to communicate with your customers, you want to build a list so you can communicate with them directly. We look for as many opportunities as we can to get those valuable 10 digits so that our clients can talk to their clients, their customers, their guests. Here's a good example. This is a good. We put this in the category of good. Have a website. How many Office fans do we have? Does anybody recognize Alfredo's Pizza Cafe? Okay, Office fans. All right, Alfredo's Pizza Cafe was on a particularly funny episode of The Office. This is our example. Do you want free food? Put your name, your phone, and your date of birth. We say only use current year. We do not want to be in the business of identity theft or anything like that. We don't want that kind of hassle or liability. If someone gives us their real birth year, we change it immediately to the current year, because all we care about in our automation and our technology is identifying when their day and month is. So this is a great way on your website to gather names, to get people on your list. Okay. The next better way is a Facebook lead form. If you've ever done any Facebook advertising, you'll know that Facebook makes it available to you for that you can build a lead form inside of Facebook so they don't have to leave Facebook. Statistics say that that can make a difference in conversion. So if you've ever noticed it, you have an ad, you click on the ad, it pulls up a Facebook lead form, and that advertiser will ask you for some information. In our case, we're asking for name and cell phone number, because what we want to do is we want to text them a coupon. We want to text them something compelling that you're making available on your ad. That's a better way. It's another form. That's form number 2. The next better way for us to get names is if you're not going to get it at checkout, at the counter, at the window, you can ask for it another time. I'm not sure when in the setting of a food truck, but you can find a time to ask for a name, and we create an internal form for our clients where if I ask Bill for his information and he's a guest, sometimes this applies more to brick and mortar restaurants, but I can ask Bill, would you like to join our VIP program? And everybody on my staff has this form just on their cell phone. They don't need to log into apps or passwords or anything. I make this form available, and I'm simply as the server, waiter, manager, or whoever is interacting with the guest, I type the full name, I type the phone, and I know as a team member to only type day and month. But here's what I can do differently, and it was asked earlier. If it's first time, I may have something special that I want to do. If I want to round robin my reviews, I can decide here, and I can toggle it here, and I can coach my staff or whoever it is to say, hey, just randomly pick something, because we want to have a consistent flow to all 3. And then I can also add in the incentive of rewarding team members for asking for reviews and getting names on the list. They say a list member to your list is worth $1 a month. $12 a month, I'm sorry. $12 a month, $120 a year if you market effectively. So if that's true, then we may want to reward the people on our team. So if I have 4 servers, I have other people, I can add these names in this drop down, and I can give credit end of the week and give a bonus. I can give something there. Okay, that's better. Another better way is if you have a sit-down restaurant, you have a setting where you can approach the people who are eating. Maybe at your food truck, you have a number of tables that you have outside, and you can actually come to the guests and you can have a quick conversation with them. When you do that, then you can do some strategic things that you can, and we can talk about this later, but you can do some strategic scripting where you can get some information and you can warm up that relationship. The best, however, that we found is for fast casual and food trucks to get it at the register, right when you have the best opportunity. And that is the best that we've seen. Okay, so let's do we have time for a couple quick demos, Bill?
Yeah, go ahead and do a demo.
Okay,
That really drives home how effective it works.
yeah, so let's go ahead and do a demo. Can I get a volunteer? Okay, Patrick, go ahead and get off mute, Patrick. Patrick, you're not on Facebook, are you? I don't, if you don't want to, I don't want you to give me your cell phone number, but I need it for the demo. So,
Yeah, that's fine.
you want to share with me now, or do you want to type it in somewhere?
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. You on Long Island?
Yeah, Long Island. Well, I'm from Long Island.
Okay. So I don't have
Hold on,
enough.
I have to correct the number. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Wait, what just happened? Oh, my keys. Some of the keys are working.
Let's see.
There we go. There we go. That's it.
All right, I'm gonna start over. Okay, files. Okay, so for sake of time, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to assume that you ordered from me and we've completed the transaction, and I say, all right, Patrick, can I get your number and your name so that we can text you when your order's ready? Okay, so I'm going to use my app, and inside our app is where I can quickly add a contact. So, it's taken me about 15 to 20 seconds to get Patrick's information. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add that contact. So when I save it, Patrick is going to get, I've got Patrick's information now, and what I've done is I'm gonna show this. I'm not sure we're gonna be able to get all of it here for sake of time, but now what I've done is I've added, if you can see it on my screen, I'm holding it up to the screen. I've got Patrick's information and I'm ready. So if I go back and I look at my customers, Patrick is now the top of the list. So as you guys are getting customers, the most recent people you've added in so that you can find them quickly are going to be at the top of the list. So I've got Patrick. When he's ready, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit the message and I'm going to say your food's ready. Okay, I may have a better way of doing this in terms of, I may have a more standard
I just got it.
words I use. Did you just get it?
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna come to the window and now I'm gonna give you your food. I'm gonna hopefully go through and I'm gonna have a quick conversation with you, say how much I appreciate you coming, just like I did earlier in our conversation. But now what's happening is now the automation is starting to kick in. So I, as the food truck owner, I don't have to go through a bunch of trouble. What's happened is I've put him on my contacts and now I've added him. So if you see here, Patrick is now in my system and he's got 2 tags. What we advocate and what we suggest for our clients and what we advocate for anybody for that matter, if you've got the ability to do this, group your clients in groups of 50 to 100 so that when you market back to them, you can market in small groups. You don't have to market everybody. You don't have to keep track of who you have and you haven't. You just round robin your groups in groups of 50 or 100. Therefore, you stay in good graces with the carriers. They don't feel like you're spamming them. And you get to really, you get to bring a consistent flow of your customers back through your business on your terms so that you can have a consistent flow. Now, what I showed here is if you can see this, it's really small. I'm pretending like Patrick is seeing us at a festival. So if you have a festival, I have a special tag. What that's doing now is, and I showed this, I went through with this with Bill, but if you notice at the top, I created a special tag and list that's a dynamic list that now has all the people who attended the CMA festival that I was a food truck at. And now I can, the next time I go back to CMAs, I can tell all those people who were at that festival, hey, we're coming back. Come see us at Scooter's Fried Chicken. And now they're going to get a special incentive. What also is going to happen, and it's delayed, is that automation. You can use automation in order to help yourself. So if I go into my automation, I'll go in the demos for this presentation. Is I won't pass it over. We have some automations that go in here. Is that I now have Patrick in my flow. So if I go in here, let me see where he's going to be at. Okay, you'll notice Patrick is right here. This is the one. He's waiting. He's gone through and I've added the tag so I can contact him again. But now in 7 minutes, and this is the time that you're going to put in the delay by how long it typically takes your customers to eat. So this is 7 minutes for virtue of this presentation, but it's probably going to be like 30 minutes. You want to hit them with the review request at the time they're about finished eating, not immediately, because that's going to be annoying, and not way far down the road, 24 hours down the road, because they may have already left the bad review. You want to ask them for their feedback so that you can get feedback and possibly intervene if the experience was bad. And that's what we do. So once the 7 minutes up, I'm not sure we're going to have enough time, is this in this workflow, it adds to another workflow in our system. And this, I'm going to show you sort of the roadmap. I'll include a roadmap after the fact. I just feel like I'm a little pressed for time here. That it's going to go through and it's going to send a text. And what we advocate for is feedback first. You can do reviews in two ways. You can do reviews where you ask first for a review. In our world, we feel like that's a little business centered. It's about me as a business. Or you can first ask for feedback, more long-term focused. It's about the customer. Instead of, hey, give me a review, you are saying, I want your feedback. How was your experience? How do you feel? And so that is a really powerful difference. So what we're doing is, if anybody's ever heard of this NPS framework, it was developed by a company called Bain & Company. It's a one question, 0 to 10, instead of some long-winded survey with lots of questions, just one question, 0 to 10. If it's 10 or 9 or 8 in our automation, we have some artificial intelligence that will automatically send a review request so you don't have to. If it's anything less than a 10, or it's anything less than a 10, 9, or 8, it's going to automatically send an alert to the business owner that says, hey, warning, you've got something other than a 10, 9, or 8, you may want to deal with it. Sometimes the artificial intelligence misses and they say something that different than what you instructed, but it's not necessarily bad. And sometimes you got to deal with it. And then it gets you into a manual exchange by text with your customer that will allow you to intervene, make things right before they go out and leave you a bad review. Coach SAS appears in the URL. Coach SAS is our software component of our business. It's just what we use as the URL. So that's us, by the way. And okay, so that's demo number 1. I have a couple other demos, but I think for sake of time, Bill, maybe we can either do it another time or I can do a video on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that you've given them so much information. They definitely need to understand the flow of, you know, when a guest places an order, you get the cell phone information, and then you text them to say, hey, your food's up. If they could see that, and then the follow-ups that are automatic rather than them having to remember, okay, it's been 7 minutes, I need to text this dude. They can see the automation. It would really drive home how important this particular presentation is and how they can better market
Yeah, Chris, have you gotten a reply yet from me? I'm not sure it's been 7 minutes yet. Let me check. Here, I can go into, I can go in and check and see if he's gotten anything yet. This is good because I can show it on. I shouldn't have left it for 7 minutes. I didn't think I'd be this long, but what's going to show here is it's going to show a text. And let me maybe get into the automation. The first thing it's going to show after that delay, when ideally it's, and here in this one, this is a different automation, we show wait up to 45 minutes, but it's going to show this text. It's going to say, thanks again for your business. Based on your experience so far, how likely on a scale of 1 to 10, with 0 being least likely and 10 being most extremely likely, are you to recommend, have your name, it'll insert your business to someone you know. Now, we put this in here, it's very long-winded, but we put it in here so you can use it as a framework to say it how you want to say it. And what that does is that allows the customer to respond with anything. But what we're asking them to do is respond only with a number between 0 and 10. And so what happens is the automation then, if they respond with anything, it's going to go down what we call our yes branch in our automation. If it's a 10, 9, or 8, it goes to the yes branch and they're going to get this review if you can see it. It says, awesome, that's great to hear. Smiley face, positive reviews mean a lot. Would you mind leaving us one on Google? Here's the link. And it sends them that link I showed you, automated, and it's called a trigger link. So we know they clicked on it and they get that Google review right on their phone and they can leave that 5-star review. If they do anything other than the number 10, 9, or 8, and it goes to here, then we are going to text the owner with the following message: alert, so-and-so, and it's going to put the customer's first and last name if you have it. They replied to your review feedback text, take action now if the response is less than 8 to avoid a negative review being posted on your Google My Business listing. You will find that sometimes people will type the word 10. They'll put 10 or they'll put, and our artificial intelligence can't read that. And then you'll see that it's okay and you don't need to take any action on it. And you can actually just copy and paste your Google link and say, hey, great, please leave us a review. Okay. If they do nothing, what we've accounted for here is we've accounted for the opportunity to follow up once or twice. So if they don't respond in 45 minutes, we say, hey, just a quick follow-up on a scale of 1 to 10. How happy are you with us? And then we do the 6-second wait to make it look like it's a natural text environment, like I'm sending another text quickly and it's real time. Say, oh, almost forgot, honest feedback, both good and bad is really appreciated. So this automation is really powerful, but what it's trying to do is just trying to simplify your life. It's trying to make it more efficient so that you can go through. I mean, Bill's got the numbers, however many guests you're supposed to go through in an hour at your food truck. Imagine having to do this manually. That's just what we try to help business owners with, is if you can do this, you can take the 10 or 15 extra seconds. And Bill and I have talked about this. How do we integrate with a POS system that maybe is getting this information already? Those are things you have to account for. But if you have that extra 15 seconds and you can get that information, you can automate your life and do some of these incredibly critical elements of marketing that are you're going to make your business thrive. Bill, was someone just asked in the test how many guests you're supposed to go through? That is a question that has probably a long answer, and Bill can answer.
Now, I'll give you a real short answer. The first goal that I set up for every food truck, no matter what they sell, is to take one order every minute. So that means you can do 60 an hour. Now, how long it takes you to cook the food is a whole different story, but you should be able to take at least 60 orders an hour. And then it's up to you as a business owner to push the food out. And I can give a real long-winded answer on that.
I cannot imagine, and I can't imagine because we have some clients doing it. how many people you can get on your list on a daily basis that can become lifelong loyal customers if you just get their text number, their cell phone. It is staggering. You can put someone on staff to be customer success and love your customers person. If they're the only ones asking, that's how valuable it is to your business going forward. It will double. We say our technology can get you at least a 30x ROI by putting some technology in place to automate your life and get these things in place for you. That's how valuable this stuff is to you. And when I say manage your marketing in 30 minutes a week, I believe it. I see it. And it's because once you have this list, imagine just you saw our kind of contacts list. Imagine going in, finding this what we call a smart list with all the people tagged with whatever it is, Group 1 or CMA Festival or whatever festival it is, and you send them a text, hey, come and get whatever it is when we're out in your location next Friday. When you send that, it literally takes in our system 3 minutes to send that text. And you're going to have customers showing up at your food truck all day because of it. I have, Bill, you can let me know if you want to do a separate training. I have this, what I was going to present as a bonus, which is how to do video posts. And I'm going to go through and just show this slide quickly. We have what we call a why framework. So how to produce your why video and why you got started as a food truck. And it just goes through everything there. Then we also have a couple examples of, text, a script that I was going to present here. Then 2 examples, and we have what we call our power post framework, creating 3 videos of 3 to 5 minutes in length that you can put $1 to $5 on a day that can explode your business. And then our conversion framework, how do you create an ad that is a conversion ad? It's a BOGO, or it's a birthday ad, or it's a special half price off, or whatever it might be. These are all video things, Bill. I'm happy to do at some point. Don't know what your feedback is there.
Definitely. I think there's enough information. We could definitely do this again, maybe break it up into 2 sessions. Because I've been reading through the comments. A lot of people are impressed with what we're presenting. And I think it's definitely worth doing again, for sure.
Bill, I can't tell you how appreciative I am of you letting me join you. I think what I've learned about Bill over the past month or so that I've been working with him is that we're incredibly complementary. And the things that Bill knows like the back of his hand are things that I don't, frankly. And some of the things that I know, I think I can piggyback on what Bill's reinforcing. And, I appreciate it. Thank you.